Part 118. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1171. After hearing these words, Su Tianxuan's pretty face turned red, her eyes averted, and she was at a loss what to do. Seeing her like this, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. "You are laughing at me. I will give it to you now, do you dare to ask for it?" Su Tianxian said angrily. "I made it very clear before that if you want to transfer all the dragon energy in Su Tianxuan's body to me, you must have sex." Unexpectedly, my words actually made Su Tianxian angry. "Then what's there to be afraid of?" I said. Su Tianxian bit her red lips, then hesitantly stretched out her hand to untie her clothes. When I saw this, I quickly said, What do you want to do?" Seeing me so panicked, Su Tianxuan's eyes flashed with a cunning look. "You have the heart, but you don't have the guts, and you're just a coward." In this quarrel, Su Tianxian had the upper hand, which made Su Tianxian feel a little proud. "Really? The environment here is not bad. Didn't you tell me before that you wanted to have a child? You can do it now." A blush crept up Su Tianxuan's pretty face. My words instantly broke her guard. She hesitated and said, "Not now anyway. Before the inheritance, I can't lose my virginity." I smiled. I didn't think about it at all, just to tease her. Last time Su Tianxian whispered in my ear that she wanted to have a child. The two of us had already gotten married in the Ma family courtyard, although there was a special reason for that time. However, after Su Tianxian figured out his feelings, he thought that he and I were already known as husband and wife. But now is not the time to think about that. I asked, "Tianxian, who are you, and why does Queen Mother 11 respect you so much?" Su Tianxian shook her head and said that she didn't know either, but she would figure it out. After that, I asked about inheritance. Su Tianxian replied, "Have you seen the stalactites above Yaokai?" I nodded and asked, "Is it possible that your inheritance is related to that?" "Yes, I will stay at the bottom of the Yao pond and absorb the essence of the sun and the moon. After a period of time, I can come out, and then the inheritance will end. However, we cannot be disturbed in any way during this period." I gently grabbed Su Tianxuan's hand and asked, "Are you really safe here?" "Well, I'm safe here, but the Queen Mother of the West will attack you, which worries me a little." I felt relieved when I heard that Su Tianxian was safe here. At this moment, there was a sudden knock on the door of the room, and then Princess Longji opened the door and walked in. Princess Longji glanced at Su Tianxian, then sighed slightly and said, "Sure enough, she is as beautiful as before." This inexplicable statement made Su Tianxian and I confused. Princess Longji came to me and said, "The inheritance ceremony will only begin tomorrow. During this period, you must be careful to prevent Queen Mother 11 from attacking you." I nodded. Su Tianxian suddenly said to Princess Longji, "I have something to ask you for help." Princess Longji replied, "You say." Su Tianxian glanced at me and said, "I beg you to escort Xiao Su out of here tomorrow." Princess Longji waved her hand and replied, "Don't worry, I am here to protect him, and I will definitely send him out of here safely." When Su Tianxian received Princess Longji's answer, her frowning eyebrows relaxed a little. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1172. Su Tianxian told me that no matter what happens, never leave her sight. In Yaokai, the only person who can protect me is her. I nodded in agreement, and Princess Longji pulled Su Tianxian aside. The two of them didn't know what they were talking about. After a while, Princess Longji left, and Su Tianxian sat back next to me. "What did you two say?" Su Tianxian shook his head and replied, "Nothing." I raised a wry smile at the corner of my mouth and said, "Days like this remind me of the time when you protected me before." Su Tianxian was startled, rolled his eyes, and said angrily, "According to what you said, I won't protect you now." I finally discovered that women's brain circuits are really strange. I smiled and said, "How come? I wish you could protect me for the rest of my life, but at the same time, I also want to protect you for the rest of my life." Su Tianxian lowered his eyes, his expression became a little lonely, and he didn't know what to think about. At this moment, the door of the room suddenly opened, and a Yaokai guard walked in. He first bowed respectfully to Su Tianxian, and then said, "Emperor Donghua invites you." "Emperor Donghua, what does he want from me?" Su Tianxian said to the guard, "Okay, we understand. Xiao Su, I'll go with you to meet Emperor Donghua. Maybe he can tell you what you want to know." Su Tianxian told me before that there is someone in Yaokai who knows my life experience and my purpose. At first, I thought it was the Queen Mother of the West, but now it seems that it is the Emperor of Donghua. On the way to see Emperor Donghua, Su Tianxian said to me, "Yaokai is a world of its own, but neither Queen Mother of the West nor Emperor Donghua are their true bodies, but a soul that remains here." After hearing this, I asked with some confusion, "This Yaokai is called the first heaven. Is it possible that, the gods who are so high above cannot move around here as they please?" Su Tianxian shook his head and said, "Xiao Su, I don't know if you have noticed that any body you have ever seen is not the body, but the soul." After Su Tianxian mentioned it, this is really what happened. Then are there true bodies in heaven? Or somewhere else? I don't know about this either. It seems that this matter can only be explored by myself. Soon, we arrived at the palace where Emperor Donghua lived. Emperor Donghua is considered to be the Yang god in Yin and Yang, corresponding to the Yin god Queen Mother of the West, and has no parents. Its status is very high. An ordinary-looking man with white hair sat lazily on the throne. The man has an ordinary appearance and is not tall, only about 1.65 meters tall. The Donghuangjing in the Classic of Mountains and Seas records the appearance of Emperor Donghua. 1 foot long, with bright white hair, he has the shape of a human with the face of a bird and the tail of a tiger. He carries a black bear and looks left and right. Emperor Donghua is the same as Queen Mother of the West. Even though they have human bodies, they don't have human faces. However, they can change their appearance with magic. When Emperor Donghua heard someone coming, he lazily raised his head and looked at me and Su Tianxian. When he saw me, he froze on the spot for an instant, stood up immediately, and disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already in front of me. "I can't believe it. I can't believe you actually did this." Emperor Donghua seemed a little surprised, and then he hugged me. His enthusiasm shocked me. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1173. He feels like an old friend I haven't seen in a long time. Emperor Donghua quickly asked me to sit down. The next words shocked me completely. 9 evil spirits have returned to the palace and 5 evil spirits have returned. It seems that you are only a few steps away from your goal. With just one glance, Emperor Donghua could tell that the 9 evils had returned to the palace and the 5 evils had returned. This shows that his strength is really strong. I opened my mouth, hesitated for a while, and said, "How do you know about this?" Emperor Donghua laughed and said, "How do I know? At that time, you encouraged me to do this with you. But at that time, everyone thought you were crazy, but they never expected that after so many years, you would actually achieve this step. It really surprised me. I regret not agreeing to your request now." I looked at Emperor Donghua and asked, "Can I know what I want to know from you?" Emperor Donghua was stunned and said with a smile, "I can only tell you a little bit, because you have already reached this step, and you need to walk the rest of the road yourself. I am telling you everything now, just to hurt you. It's better to tell a little bit than to know nothing at all. I said, I want to know what is it that I am pursuing after reincarnation for eternity. Emperor Donghua glanced at Su Tianqian and said in a slightly respectful tone, "Can the Empress avoid suspicion?" Su Tianqian was stunned and glanced at me, with only worry in his eyes. I know that she is afraid that Emperor Donghua will take action against me. I said to her, "It's okay." Su Tianqian nodded, then stood up and left. Before leaving, he said to me, "I'll wait for you outside." After Su Tianqian left, Emperor Donghua and I were the only two people left in the entire hall. Emperor Donghua spoke slowly and asked, "Now, do you know what the divine position represents?" I was stunned and replied, "In my opinion, the status of a god is just as shackles of imprisonment. Whether you achieve enlightenment and ascend, or you have the status of a god, it means a kind of imprisonment. If becoming a god is really free, then you won't come to see me as a soul." As soon as he said this, Emperor Donghua laughed heartily and said, "You are still you. No matter how many things you have experienced or how much time has passed, your thoughts have never changed, and you have not changed." I asked again, "Does your asking this question have anything to do with my purpose?" Emperor Donghua smiled and said, "Of course, you are the great Emperor Ziwei, but why did you choose to reincarnate? After what I said, you can understand it, right?" This sentence made me know the purpose of my eternal reincarnation. I am Emperor Ziwei. I should be a high-altitude god, but I choose to reincarnate into the human world for eternity. This shows that I want to break away from the divine position. But I vaguely have a bigger purpose behind this purpose. I said what was on my mind. Emperor Donghua said to me mysteriously, "I can't tell you this matter, but I can reveal it to you. Do you know why we appear in the form of souls? It's because there is no God in this world. Soon, something big will happen in the underworld. Then you will know that the gods are no longer gods, but just a group of demons. And the order that originally existed will become a mess." Although Emperor Donghua solved my doubts, bigger doubts emerged again, which gave me a headache. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1174. After several conversations, I couldn't find any useful information. Just when I was about to leave, Emperor Donghua suddenly stopped me. "Lu Su, you are temporarily safe in Yaokai, but after tomorrow, it won't be certain." I turned around, looked at Emperor Donghua, and asked, "What about you? Will you also take action against me?" Emperor Donghua smiled and said, "Yes, and no, you are in a very dangerous situation now. If it were not forced by the situation, I think I would be on your side." I took a deep look at Emperor Donghua and said nothing. Just when I was about to turn around and leave, Emperor Donghua spoke again, "Wait a moment." I turned around and looked at Emperor Donghua with confusion. Emperor Donghua looked at me with a smile and said to me, "Before you leave, I will give you a gift." After saying that, Emperor Donghua made a secret with both hands, and then pointed at me. Then, a beam of golden light shot out from Emperor Donghua's index finger and went straight into the center of my eyebrows. The next moment, I felt dizzy, and a memory quietly emerged in my mind. In my memory, I was in a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Everywhere I looked, there were corpses. Moreover, broken limbs and broken arms were scattered everywhere, and blood gathered into rivers. But my palm held a bloody sword. I don't have much memory, but it left a very deep impression on me. Suddenly, I gasped for air, like a drowning person suddenly breathing air. The cold sweat on my body couldn't stop flowing down. What's going on? Is that person in my memory me? How could I kill so many people? No wonder Su Tianqian said that some of my memories are negative, and now it seems that is indeed the case. I don't know if these bad memories will affect me. If other negative memories awaken, wouldn't I become a ruthless and unkind person? I took a deep breath and calmed myself down. These are things I will have to face sooner or later. Regardless of whether the memory is good or bad, I have to look at it properly and not let these memories affect my judgment on anything. But, even I didn't notice that my whole person was changing silently. I left the palace where Emperor Donghua was. Su Tianqian was pacing outside, looking into the palace from time to time. When he saw me coming out, Su Tianqian hurriedly greeted me. When he saw my head covered in cold sweat, he asked worriedly, "Xiao Su, are you okay?" I shook my head at Su Tianqian, indicating that I was fine. Later, Su Tianqian and I returned to the room where we rested before. Su Tianqian sat quietly next to me without saying a word or asking me what Emperor Donghua said to me. Seeing this, I hesitated and asked again and again, "Tianqian, don't you want to know what Emperor Donghua said to me?" Su Tianqian raised his eyes to look at me and replied, "If you wanted to tell me, you would have told me already." I was stunned, then smiled slightly and told Su Tianqian exactly what Emperor Donghua told me just now. Su Tianqian is the person I trust most in the world. Let her know these things, and she can also give me some suggestions and maybe help me solve my doubts. After hearing this, Su Tianqian pondered for a moment and said, "God is not God, maybe he has been replaced by someone." I was slightly startled and asked, "What does this sentence mean?" Su Tianqian smiled at me and replied, "I just said it casually." Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1175. The two of us did not continue to argue about this matter. Time passes minute by minute, and Yaokai, like other places, is divided into day and night. In the final analysis, Yaokai is not a heaven. Naturally, it is impossible to spend one day in the sky and 1 year in the earth. Moreover, it is still unknown whether the heavenly realm exists. Through the conversation with Emperor Donghua, I realized that gods may not exist, and even if they do exist, they may be imprisoned somewhere. You can only come to the human world with your soul. The key to this still needs to be explored by me in the future. Su Tianqian and I were lying on the bed, and she hugged me tightly and buried her head in my chest. This time may be the last night Su Tianqian and I spend together. Because Su Tianqian is going to accept the inheritance, which also means that we have to be separated for a while. I don't want to be separated from her, not even for a moment. I guess Su Tianqian thought so too. However, the reality is right in front of us and we must abide by it. If Su Tianqian does not accept the inheritance, he will be destroyed physically and mentally in the near future. Xiao Su. Su Tianqian whispered softly in my arms. I hummed softly, and Su Tianqian looked up at me and asked, "Do you like boys or girls?" I was slightly startled and replied, "Girl, because when a girl grows up, she will be as gentle and beautiful as you." Su Tianxuan's cheeks were slightly red, and then she didn't continue talking about me. I asked, "Actually, I like both boys and girls. How about we have 2 children?" Su Tianqian stretched out her slender hand, pinched me hard, and said, "Try to make every move possible." I smiled. If nothing happens, Su Tianqian and I will be together forever. We will hold another wedding, invite all Jiangxi and others, then have children, and even travel around the world. This is my expectation and Su Tianxuan's expectation. Moreover, we are all now starting to imagine the future. However, since leaving the village, things have progressed steadily, and I have also realized that the burden on my shoulders is heavier than I imagined. Finally, will Su Tianqian and I really be together? I sighed slightly. Seeing me sighing, Su Tianqian asked, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." I changed the topic and asked, "If everything is settled, where do you want to go with me?" Su Tianqian thought for a while and replied, as long as I can be by your side, it doesn't matter where I go. I looked at Su Tianxuan's beautiful face and smiled knowingly. Afterwards, Su Tianqian and I chatted all night long. From when we first met, got to know each other, fell in love, and then to our future lives. When I first met you, I thought you were a little kid who didn't understand anything. Everything you do will be controlled by your emotions. However, your experience also made me feel very sad. Su Tianqian said. I smiled and replied, yes. If you hadn't been by my side to guide me and educate me, I'm afraid I wouldn't have reached this point. Su Tianqian snorted softly and said, you still have a conscience. I sighed a little, I really didn't expect that you would fall in love with me. When Su Tianqian heard this, she frowned slightly, her nose twitched slightly, and she said angrily, nonsense. Didn't you like me first? I was stunned and said, okay. You don't admit it, right? That's not what you said last time. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1176. What did I say last time? Tell me. Su Tianqian raised her pretty face and looked at me triumphantly. Last time you said. Before I finished speaking, Su Tianqian covered my mouth and said angrily, don't say it. I nodded, Su Tianqian let go, and I quickly said, last time in Buman Mountain, you said you were not mentally prepared. Su Tianxuan's pretty face suddenly turned red. She sat up immediately, sat directly on me, and then reached out her hand to cover my mouth. You still say? I'll beat you. Su Tianxuan's eyes were full of shame, and the two blushes on his face seemed to be able to squeeze out water. I nodded, and Su Tianqian let go of my hand. Just when I wanted to speak, she covered it. Don't say it. I know what you are thinking. I feel ashamed, Su Tianqian knows me too well, I really want to tease her. Su Tianqian raised his pink fist, made a gesture in front of my eyes, snorted softly, and said, if you keep talking nonsense, I will let you taste my fist. I turned over and pressed Su Tianqian underneath me. Not to be outdone, Su Tianqian started to fight with me. I found that in this process, Su Tianqian had the upper hand. But if you think about it carefully, Su Tianqian is stronger than me and has better skills than me. If it were another man, let alone fighting with her, Su Tianqian would not look down upon her even if he came close. So I can only use dirty tricks. Su Tianqian exclaimed, quickly distanced herself from me, and shrank into the corner. Xiao Su, I'm warning you, don't go too far. I smiled and played with Su Tianqian again. One night, Su Tianqian and I got tired from playing, so we started chatting. We both knew that after tonight, we would be separated, so we cherished this night very much. Of course, I didn't do anything extraordinary. The next day, at dawn, several Yaokai fairies knocked on the door. When they opened the door, they walked straight towards Su Tianqian without even looking at me. Holy girl, it's time to change. They held up the clothes they were holding in the book. Su Tianqian glanced at the gorgeous clothes in their hands and said calmly, get out. Fairies, you looked at me, I looked at you, and finally withdrew. I came to Su Tianqian and said, today is the day you accept the inheritance. I will not leave until I see you enter Yaokai safely with my own eyes. Su Tianqian smiled brightly at me and said, okay. But, after I enter Yaokai, you must try your best to leave here. Don't show off. I will be safe here. I nodded. Su Tianqian gently held my hand and said, Xiao Su, after my inheritance is over, can you come and take me home? Good. At noon, Queen Mother of the West and Emperor Donghua stood on the Tiangong, and Yaokai was directly below the Tiangong. When Su Tianqian and I arrived outside the Heavenly Palace, Queen Mother of the West and Emperor Donghua both turned back. The two of them focused on Su Tianqian, with a little admiration shining in their eyes. The Queen Mother of the West came to Su Tianqian and said, "Holy girl, you can enter the Yaokai." Su Tianqian nodded slightly. At this time, the entire Yaokai is surrounded by auspicious clouds, hundreds of flowers are blooming, and magical birds are flying together. The entire Yaokai seems dreamlike, incredibly beautiful, and like a fairyland. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1177. Su Tianqian glanced at me, and then stretched out her hand. I understood and slowly took her hand. This scene made Queen Mother 11 look livid. Then, the two of us walked along the heavenly steps towards Yaokai. You will be under pressure when you go up to the heavenly level, but you don't have to bear it when you go down to the heavenly level. The two of us walked slowly to the Yaokai. Looking at the pure-bottomed water, Su Tianqian turned to me and said, "Xiao Su, you must leave here safely later. I can feel your situation at any time." As he spoke, Su Tianqian spread his palms, revealing the word Su in his palms. If something really happens to you, no matter what, I will save you." I shook my head at Su Tianqian and said, "Don't worry, I will leave here safely. The process may be difficult, but I am confident that I will leave here. What you have to do is accept the inheritance well and wait for me to take you home. I don't want to interrupt Su Tianxuan's legacy because of me. After all, the inheritance matter is related to Su Tianxuan's life." After hearing this, Su Tianqian lowered his eyes. After a moment, he raised his eyes, stood on tiptoes, and lightly pressed his red lips on mine. She smiled brightly at me and said, "I'll wait for you to pick me up." Su Tianxuan's smile is so beautiful that it can make hundreds of flowers eclipse. Come to think of it, the most beautiful thing in the world is Su Tianxuan's smile. "Okay, wait for me, I'll take you home," I replied. Su Tianqian turned around and walked towards Yaokai, when Su Tianxuan's feet touched the water of Yaokai. A magical scene happened. The water in Yaokai seemed to be retreating to both sides consciously. As Su Tianqian moved forward, a deep waterway appeared in front of me. Su Tianqian walked some distance, stopped, and looked back at me reluctantly. The reluctance in her eyes moved me a little, and I even wanted to go down with her and let her stay with me. Su Tianqian opened her red lips and said 3 words to me. Although I couldn't hear it, I could tell what she said through the shape of her mouth. I said to Su Tianqian, "I love you too." Su Tianqian turned around. This time, she did not look back and walked straight towards the bottom of Yaokai. The rippling water in the pool covered the path Su Tianqian took. Watching Su Tianxuan's figure gradually disappear from my sight, I couldn't calm down for a long time. Until Su Tianqian completely disappeared from my sight, I felt a sense of loss. At this moment, the surface of Yaokai suddenly emitted a dazzling 7-color light, and the huge stalactite directly above Yaokai also began to slowly drip colorful liquid. Su Tianqian said that she was safe here, and I felt relieved. At this moment, a loud voice sounded from above the Yaokai heavenly palace. "Lu Su, you were safe and sound with the saint before, but now that the saint has entered Yaokai, she won't know anything happens here now." I looked up and saw Queen Mother 11 looking at me with a gloomy expression. "So, today is your death day." A strong pressure spread towards me. I looked at Queen Mother 11 coldly and said in a nonchalant manner, "Want to kill me? You have to be able to kill me." As soon as I finished speaking, more powerful pressure spread towards me. At the same time, countless heavenly soldiers rushed toward me from all directions, as well as envoys from the Queen Mother of the West. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1178. There are many envoys under the Queen Mother of the West. The 7 messengers headed by Whitebird are Whitebird, Bluebird, Blackbird, Bluefish, Red Dragon, Yellow Spotted Tiger, and Golden Kylin. Bluebird has been seen before. These messengers are basically auspicious beings. Will bring good luck to the world. In fact, the Queen Mother of the West was originally the god of plague and killing. The Queen Mother of the West has a ferocious image and looks like a human. She has a leopard tail and tiger teeth. She roars with a loud voice and has fluffy hair. She is in charge of disasters, diseases, and punishments and killings. It is not the Queen Mother who is sitting under the Yao pond with grace and grace. The 7 messengers took the form of humans and rushed toward me. These 7 guys are extremely spiritual, and the aura they exude is enough to scare me. Regardless of how powerful the Queen Mother of the West is, any one of these 7 envoys will be famous all over the world. This situation is very unfavorable to me now, but this is also what I expected. I took a deep breath and directly used 9 Eyes Heavenly Domain. The 7 envoys were instantly enveloped by the 9 Eyes Heavenly Domain. They looked at the black barrier of the 9 Eyes Sky territory with some surprise. Bluebird whispered, "A world of its own." The 9 Eyes Heaven realm is similar to the Yin realm in a sense. Seeing this scene, Queen Mother 11's face changed slightly from the heavenly palace, and she gave a stern order. "Execute him." As soon as I finished speaking, 7 envoys rushed toward me from all directions. Seeing that I was about to be captured, my expression condensed, and I directly used the power of the 9 Eyes Heavenly Domain to disappear from the place. The 7 messengers immediately jumped into the air. They looked around, looking for me. I appeared not far from them. I held Jingxiao in my hand and picked up the 9-level Thunder Ju with one hand, superimposing the power of the Thunder Ju to the 5th level. In an instant, the entire sky above Yaokai was shrouded in dark clouds. The dark clouds covered the sky and the sun, and Yaokai was instantly shrouded in darkness. Thunder and lightning rolled among the dark clouds, tearing the sky apart, and an extremely powerful force came from the sky. I tried to superimpose the 9th level of thunder technique to the 6th level. This was my first time trying it, but I didn't expect it to be so easy. I looked at the 7 messengers coldly. The 6th level of thunder technique will not do much damage to them, but I have one more trick. I release the purple energy in my body. The churning dark clouds in the sky flashed with purple light, and the blue thunder and lightning instantly turned purple. The entire sky was rendered by purple light. There was a huge amount of purple energy that stretched thousands of miles across. Qi is an extremely special existence in this world. People have Qi, corpses have corpse Qi, ghosts have yin Qi, monsters have evil Qi. The Zai Wei Qi is the most yang Qi in this world, also known as the Heiran Qi, and is the nemesis of all evil spirits. Blue thunder turns into purple thunder, 9-day purple thunder. I don't know how much more powerful this power is. I looked at the 7 envoys and without any hesitation, my sword drew the thunder from the sky and slashed straight towards them. The moment the sky fell, the purple thunder hovering in the sky also fell with the force of destroying the heaven and the earth. The purple thunder converged into a purple thunder dragon as it descended. The thunder dragon roared in and engulfed the 7 envoys. In an instant, a huge thunder sound echoed directly above the entire Yaokai, and purple thunder light swept thousands of miles. It was like the end of the world. The powerful force forced me to retreat continuously. When the lightning dissipated and the world returned to peace, I looked at the place where the 7 envoys were, and my expression changed slightly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1179. The 9 heavens purple thunder really worked. The 7 envoys were also seriously injured. However, it did not have much impact on them. However, the 7 envoys were in a very embarrassed state, and their clothes were in tatters after being struck by lightning. Such behavior completely angered the 7 messengers, and they showed their prototypes. The white bird, the blue bird, and the black bird are 3 big white, cyan, and black birds respectively. The red dragon, yellow spotted tiger, and golden unicorn are a fiery red dragon and a ferocious tiger with yellow spots all over its body. I would like to mention Jin Kailan here. The golden unicorn has a golden body, a sheep's head, wolf's hooves, and a round top. It looks mighty and domineering, and looks very oppressive. My expression became a little serious. If they were humanoid, they would not show too much power. But changing the original body would be troublesome. The red dragon roared throughout the world and rushed straight towards me. The strong wind caused by its flight in the air made me a little unsteady. The red dragon opened its bloody mouth, and a pillar of fire came towards me. My expression froze, and I quickly activated the pure lotus mark on the palm of my left hand. White hazy and holy light burst out from the palm of my left hand, and then enveloped me at an extremely fast speed. The shadow of a snow-white lotus exuding holy white light enveloped me. In the blink of an eye, red-hot flames engulfed me. Even with the pure lotus protecting my body, I could still feel the scorching flames. Seeing this scene, the Queen Mother of the West raised her lips with a sneer and said, "It seems that this time, he will definitely die." Emperor Donghua looked at Queen Mother 11 with a smile and said, "I don't think so." As soon as Emperor Donghua finished speaking, the fire spit out by the red dragon was instantly extinguished, and the holy white light emitted by the pure lotus shook these fire away. I appeared next to Yaokai intact. Among the 7 envoys, Queen Mother 11's expression changed slightly. Only Emperor Donghua looked normal, as if he had expected this scene. "I don't want to stay here any longer. Princess Longji didn't show up, and I didn't know how to leave here. Who knows what she did?" At this moment, the white conch shell in my pocket emitted a dazzling white light, and Princess Wenqing appeared next to me. She looked at the 7 envoys seriously and said to me, "National Master, I am here to help you." The appearance of Princess Wenqing made me feel much more at ease. At the same time, Cai Dai also appeared. She did not appear as a little Lolita, but in an adult form. Presumably, she also knew how serious this matter was. Colorful wings sprouted from Cai Dai's back. She turned back to me and said, "Lu Su, do you want me to take you out of here?" I shook my head at Kaidi. "It's not that easy to leave here now. 7 messengers must be dealt with." My brain was working rapidly, thinking about the current countermeasures. Before I could figure it out, the 7 envoys attacked me again. They also knew that it would be troublesome to kill me, so they did it together this time. My expression condensed, and without any hesitation, I took out the evil suppressing seal from my pocket and threw it into the air, then muttered something. The 8-character mantra appeared from the bottom of the evil suppressing seal, and then instantly grew larger in the air, and 8 golden giant words appeared in the air. I squeezed the secrets with both hands, manipulated the 8-character mantra, and attacked the 7 envoys. The moment the 8-character mantra appeared, Buddha's light shone universally, filling the sky directly above Yaokai in an instant. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1180. The 8-character mantra is a Buddhist mantra. It is extremely powerful and the sense of oppression it brings is also huge. Although, I am unable to exert the true strength of the Beza mantra. However, suppressing these 7 messengers is enough. The moment the 8-character mantra appeared, Queen Mother 11's expression changed dramatically. She whispered softly, "I didn't expect that he even has the 8-character mantra." Emperor Donghua said with a smile, "You don't even know who he is. If you want to kill him, you are not qualified enough." Queen Mother 11 looked at Emperor Donghua, her expression turned gloomy, and she said, "Don't forget, both you and I must obey its orders. Lu Su will destroy everything, he must die here. Emperor Donghua relaxed his shoulders indifferently and said, I know that the long-term imprisonment has changed our thoughts, and he is the only one who has the idea of resistance. Maybe he can really break this restriction. Queen Mother 11 raised a sneer on her lips and said, what's wrong with living like this now? You know the consequences of resisting. In the eyes of everyone, Lu Su is just a runaway mouse. It would be too naive to want to break all this. Emperor Donghua smiled and said, some birds cannot be kept in cages. Their feathers are too beautiful. If you want to attack him, I have no problem with it, but you must not drag me along, I'm afraid. Queen Mother 11's face became more and more gloomy, and she didn't speak anymore, just looking at the situation on Yaokai. With the emergence of the 8-character mantra, the Buddha's light shines universally, and the Buddha's dharma spreads, imprisoning the 7 messengers. Princess Wenjin's pretty face was extremely serious, and she said, the 8-character mantra cannot last long. Even if you, the Imperial Master, restrain them, they will come out. Of course I know about this. The 7 envoys were just the beginning, and the real danger was yet to come, because the Queen Mother of the West was watching all of this coldly not far away from beginning to end. I untied 2 of the 12 meridians in my body, and the overwhelming dragon energy spread out from my body. The powerful dragon energy made me feel that my body had endless power. I squeezed the formula with both hands again to strengthen the restraint of the 8-character mantra. The 7 messengers were also struggling, but after I opened 2 of the 12 meridians, their struggling movements became smaller. I felt happy, it seemed that I still had to use the dragon energy in my body. I must take this opportunity to kill the 7 messengers completely. I waved my hand casually, and the golden light-killing array appeared instantly. The next moment, the array unfolded directly above Yaokai. Countless golden lights appeared out of thin air, like golden swords falling from the sky. Seeing that these golden lights were about to contact the 7 messengers of the Tao, a figure suddenly appeared in the magic circle. I was shocked. Queen Mother 11 took action. Queen Mother 11 waved her hand, and a very powerful force burst out from her body, directly defeating the golden light-killing and slashing formation, and even the 8-character mantra returned to the evil suppressing seal. Not only that, I also suffered a backlash from me. I felt a sweet taste in my throat and staggered in my steps. Princess Wenjin quickly supported me. Queen Mother 11's expression was extremely cold, and she said coldly to me, I have to say, Lu Su, you have many methods, but your Taoism is too shallow. If you can reach my level, I'm afraid the entire Yaokai will be destroyed. You will turn everything upside down.